Hey, this is Greg, Period 3 film class, and today we're doing notes on a scene, or I guess I could say in this particular situation, scenes. So let's get right into it. So the film I chose to dive into was the 1991 drama crime film Boys in the Hood, directed by John Singleton, who actually won an Oscar for Best Director for this movie. So this was pretty much the first film that he started working on, and he started working on it at film school in USC. Became the youngest and first African American director to win the award for Best Director. Um, but the particular reason why I found this movie to be so more special than Singleton's other movies is because of how real it is. The movie takes place in South Central Los Angeles, which is where Singleton actually grew up and created what he saw from his visual perspective growing up. So that's how real it is. He took what he had growing up and brought it into this movie in a lot of his scenes. It's really remembered as a brutal movie that focuses on poverty, sex, drugs, violence, racism, etc. But the main themes that he chooses to show in basically a lot of his movies in the early 90s and up to the 2000s was the main theme of racism and violence. So let's get right into this scene. Um, this scene right here was a scene that focuses on Furious Styles, who is played by Lawrence Fishburne, and Cuba Gooding Jr. right there. You see that's Trey right there, and who, of course, he's the main character. So what happened in this scene right before, let me just explain it to you really fast, was Trey's best friend Ricky was shot and killed by a gang right in front of Trey's eyes. So Ricky's brother Doughboy, who is played by Ice Cube, we will see in the next scene, decides to gather up some of his friends and wants Trey to come get revenge and kill the guys who did it. So you see
You bad, right?
Lawrence Fishburne right there, or should I say Furious Styles, saying, "Come on, shoot me. You bad, right?"
I'm
Because
sorry about you.
Trey has a tough decision to make,
My heart goes out to his mother and his family.
which is either to go with them and commit a murder, or remember what his father taught him growing up, all the faiths he practiced. As he saw right there, he said, "You're my son. You are my problem," which is, I love that quote so much, is because it's the point of Furious Styles basically saying, not reacting to violence with violence. Because you start to see as a viewer, without the support of his father, Trey would either end up dead or in jail because he wouldn't have been taught to make good decisions. And for that, it makes the movie that so much more dramatic, since his friends, Doughboy and Ricky, who we'll see later, don't have the same support. So you just mentioned Doughboy. See a close-up shot on Trey right there. So let me just hop back on this a little bit. So Trey has a tough decision to make here, which is either to go with them, as I said, to commit the murder, or remember what his father taught him growing up, which is good morals and to be good and not show violence. So you see Furious there kind of praying in his head that everything he taught Trey when he takes off a tie in the beginning, go back to that right in the beginning, you see there, taking off his tie, making sure, all right, now things are getting serious.
Trey,
So you see Trey getting ready to hold the gun. We'll go back to where we were. So you see Furious kind of right there. You see that shot. He's kind of praying in this moment, all right, we need him to pass that moral test. And you get that anxiety as a viewer of the movie. And of course, let's take a listen to the non-diegetic sound. Let's go back to this part though.
Shoot somebody. Yeah, I am. Don't shoot me.
See, right in this particular moment, you start to hear the ambulance in the background kind of showing someone else that just died, which could happen to Trey if he leaves that door. So I love that little part of adding the ambulance in the back, showing it again, the quote right there again. So fast forward a little bit to where we were.
No, you want to end up like Doughboy, huh? Give me the motherfucking gun, Trey.
So you see the emotions on Trey's face. But what we should really take away from this scene right here, as you see Trey getting ready to hand his father the gun, is that if Trey didn't have his father support growing up, see right here, they're getting ready. Yeah. Then he would have ended up dead or in jail. So he's making the right decision, which shows the importance of his father and having a father in this type of community. And I'll eventually explain the absence of how fathers are main message. The main message of how absences are fathers are a main message of this movie, and that really goes into Singleton style. But let's go really quickly into the next scene and watch Ice Cube. So right there, you see Furious real quick, looking up, praying, because that's the son that he raised. So now on to the next scene, which is the scene. So that scene was obviously right here, where it's Doughboy and a couple other guys getting revenge on the guys who killed Ricky. So you see Ice Cube there after they shot him. Oh, I guess we'll watch this a little bit here. So these right here are the guys that this Doughboy and his friends.
Hit the lights, nigga.
Take your ass home and watch some videos.
And this is the gang that killed Doughboy's brother named Ricky. So the reason why I picked this scene is because it really represents the violence of the movie and how it's kind of almost a repeating cycle. So as you see the gang right here, and of course the shooting, we all saw coming. So fast forward a little bit, we see, so now Doughboy gets out of the car. So if we wait a few seconds for the particular moment, see his friends waiting on them, they don't want to get caught. There's one guy dead. I like this particular shot right here because we see this guy kind of begging for help, nowhere to escape, all on the ground, and you see that close-up, low-angle shot kind of looking up at Doughboy right there, and you'll see after the killing, which if we wait a few seconds, the reaction on Doughboy's face.
Pull the fucking trigger! What the fuck you doing? Well, fuck you!
So now look at this close-up shot right here on Doughboy's face, and he realizes right here. And why I found that shot so important is because he realizes that he now understands from him doing this that he's probably going to end up dead or go to jail. So this leads me into my next scene of the very next day after he committed that murder, where Trey and Doughboy sit down to talk about a conversation which I will walk us through. I'm not going to show the whole scene, but rather stop it at the point I'm trying to make. See that extreme close-up shot on both of their faces. They both know what went down last night. Trey did not go with Doughboy. He made the right decision.
Shouldn't have been there in the first place.
So I want us to listen to this conversation really fast.
I've been up this early in a long time. Turned on the TV this morning. Had the shit on about living in a violent world. Showed all these foreign places foreigners living on. Started thinking, man. Either they don't know, don't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Now, right there. So that quote really kind of, to me, was a big part of this movie. It stood out to me so much because, as he said, either they don't know, don't show, or don't care about what's going on in the hood. And that really represents the racism in that community, how nobody is seeking support for these people and trying to help them, and how much of a problem it really is. And this goes back to my main point earlier of how it's a never-ending cycle, meaning in Doughboy died 2 weeks later. I'm not showing it, but at the end they show that he died 2 weeks later after he murdered that gang, and it's just an ever-ending cycle. And that gang will probably be murdered 2 weeks later as well that killed Doughboy. So Singleton kind of wrapped up all his themes in here by showing the poverty, the racism, the violence of the hood. But the main message that we need to see, as I mentioned, the absence of support from someone like a father and how that affects violence and what you do with your life in the hood. So Singleton wants to show that there's a better way to live life than everybody just killing each other. As you know, in the hood, killing more men, more fathers is just only going to destroy the community. So yes, the movie is focused on drugs, violence, racism, poverty, which is all the themes Singleton displayed, but it also really showed the absence of fathers and how Trey had that support, but Doughboy and Ricky didn't, which is why they died. Thanks for watching.